Stoicism. I actually have a problem with Stoicism, and it's not what you might think. So, I don't have a problem with the Stoic philosophy, the actual teachings. The problem I have is how we as men interpret Stoicism in this day and age. Part of the problem is, as men, we've always been taught that we need to be strong, we need to hide, push down our emotions. And I think there's confusion for many men when they've been that guy their whole life. They hear about Stoicism and suddenly they have a reason to justify how they are, where they ignore what they're experiencing. They try to numb out, they push away the feelings, and they hide from what's going on within them, and they don't show that to other people either. It's very satisfying for us as men, and it was for me when I came across Stoicism, because I was like, right, I can just be who I am, I can be comfortable, I don't have to work on any of the emotions, understand them, understand how they can serve me. I'm just gonna believe Stoicism. And I think where we go wrong is we kind of focus on the dictionary definition of Stoicism. So a Stoic is a person who endures pain, hardship, or difficult situations calmly and without complaining or showing their emotions. And I'd focus on that last bit, complaining or showing their emotions. I think many of us, I was a guy who I'd come out of a breakup, was feeling a lot of emotions, feeling sadness, a lot of a feeling of being lost, uncertainty. When I came across Stoicism, I actually just did more of what I did already, and it was with this focus on not complaining, not showing emotions. But if you are a guy who already doesn't show their emotions, maybe you're not honest in your relationships, if someone oversteps your boundaries, maybe you don't tell them, you're already too far that way. You're probably too far that way. I was too far that way. I was too repressed. I didn't like my anger or sadness. And the truth is, when we push down these emotions, we lose a lot of the power that we get from them. Anger can be a massive motivator. It also allows us to protect ourselves and our families. And it's also an indicator of where someone's overstepped our boundaries. But where we go wrong, and I don't think the Stoics would have agreed with this, the actual original Stoics, they wouldn't have agreed with this idea of repression. And one of the core teachings of Stoicism is control what you can control. The truth is, when we try to, let's say, repress, ignore, push away, numb out our emotions, it's like you have a beach ball, you're at the beach or in a pool, you're trying to push the beach ball underwater. It's always going to come out. And I think the Stoics would have accepted that these emotions we're experiencing, we don't stand a chance to stop them. This is just the human condition. And we have to learn to accept that. When I kind of took on this common definition of Stoicism and not the actual teachings of Stoicism, it made me quite rigid. I didn't share my experience. I felt very tense all the time. I'd be doing the things that I think I should be doing, going to the gym, working hard at work, but I felt like I didn't have an outlet. And obviously, in hindsight, that's me bottling up my feelings. And I think even now, I still do that. I push down my feelings. I maybe deny certain feelings. And it's always a losing battle. So if you're a man who is already that way, you already push down your feelings, maybe ignore some emotions, and you're not honest with people, not honest with yourself, then taking on this definition of Stoicism as not complaining and showing your emotions, I don't think more of the same is going to change your experience of life. It's not going to improve it. It's just going to make you feel comfortable and okay with your current state of affairs. And I found from the men's groups I run, where guys don't accept their emotions, where they push everything down, it just leads to a lot of repression, a lot of tension, as I experienced, feeling that certain parts of ourselves aren't okay. And again, I think with the Stoics, it's a lot about acceptance. It's a lot about what we can control. And when we numb our emotions, when we ignore them and push them down, that's where they come out unexpectedly. When we push down our anger, it can rise to the surface and we have no control. And a big part of Stoicism is that emotional restraint, ability to move through life in the best way possible without being controlled by our internal systems. If we're very reactive and responsive to anger, sadness is a common one for men, that often we won't feel our sadness because we prefer to feel anger. It's more comfortable, it's more accepted for us as men. But we need to feel these emotions to get learnings. And also, when we keep pushing them down, that is when they erupt. And then we don't have control. We're less stoic when we're actually the guy who maybe never shares his feelings, doesn't know what his feelings are. That's when you're controlled by your body. You run away when the feelings come up. You don't have that acceptance. So if you're a guy who's deep in Stoicism, you believe that you need to always wear this mask, this hard face. I believe there's cases where we need to be strong, yeah. But also by denying our emotions, by pushing them down, I don't think that's the route to go, because you're always being controlled. You will always be controlled by your emotions. And I have it myself. I still try and push down my emotions. I run men's groups, I've done therapy, I've done a lot of self-development, but still this is a challenge. It's not going to happen overnight. Last week I experienced a lot of sadness, a lot of fatigue, tiredness, and it was really hard for me to share that in my men's group. I found it very difficult to just admit don't feel good, I feel heavy. Actually, I'm going to change that wording. Something I'm learning to do is label my emotions neutrally. I realised for me that I would put emotions into two different brackets, a good bracket or a bad bracket. I'm trying to label them objectively, so it detaches from the judgment and it's more about acceptance. So I was feeling sadness and I was feeling tired, and I would always describe this as good or bad, maybe a high or a low mood. But just when you're going on this journey of starting to be more honest with yourself, try and use descriptive words about your emotions. There's also, you can find online a list of all the emotions. Maybe if you haven't sat with these things, that it's very hard to describe sadness as a good thing or anger as a good thing. But these, when we deny these parts of ourselves, then we push down and we reduce our creativity, our life force. We can't push down just one part of ourselves. We also push down every part of ourselves. So I hope you found this video useful. Consider the role that trying to be stoic is playing in your life. Because for me, it made me rigid. It made me tense. I didn't take on the actual learnings of Stoicism. So I would advise looking into it further or letting go of this focus in your life. Letting go of trying to repress, hide emotions from yourself and other people, because it's always going to be a losing battle. I hope you found this video useful. Please share this with a brother who needs to see this.